In today's episode, I'm going to show you how to dismount and mount tyres. Now, this is a DIY method. I don't have a fancy tyre machine. However, this is something that you should be able to do at home with investment on a couple of small tools. What we're going to need is a set of tyre irons. I'm a pretty small guy, so I got the biggest ones I could. Valve removal tool, trolley jack, some bits of wood, ratchet strap, a little bit of water, a sponge, some detergent, some brake clean or other flammable aerosol, I think you can all probably guess what that's for, and a lighter. Finally, obviously, the tyre that you're going to dismount and mount. So, with that all being said, I'll show you the first step, which is how to break the bead on a tyre. First thing you want to do is use your valve removal tool and take out the valve. Now, this obviously is going to let all the air out. This tyre is already flat, so it's not going to do it. But you can just unscrew them. You don't need to depressurise them first. Just beware though, there's a lot of air in tyres, and when it comes rushing out, it's very cold. Next thing is to break the bead. Now, this tyre's already gone flat because actually this side has already come off. However, I do still need to break the bead on the other side. There are a number of ways of doing this. I've tried a few of them. This is the one I prefer the most. Mainly because it can be done with household tools, and unlike I've seen some people using vehicles to push down the tyres to get them out, you're not risking damaging the sills on your car. I have to say this tends to work better on bigger tyres. Smaller, low profile ones can be a lot more stubborn. Right, the trolley jack is right up against the lip of the rim. I've got pieces of wood set up that are basically holding it and clamping it down onto it. The ratchet strap has pulled this tight. So now, as I pump up the trolley jack, it should push the tyre off the bead on the opposite side. With that done, we should then be able to get tyre irons in and get this off.
I will admit, while I've usually got this method to work, it does sometimes take a few attempts. Depending on the tyre, you may have to break the bead in more than one location around its circumference to get the tyre irons in and get it off.
Right, the next bit, we're going to go kind of medieval on this and use some brute force. You get what's called front mount and rear mount wheels. This is basically to do with where this basically dip is in the tyre. You want to mount and dismount on the side that is closest to that, because once you've got one side of the tyre off, the other side kind of needs to drop into it to help you basically wrestle the thing off. It's not easy to do. I don't know how quick I'm going to do this, but it is possible to do this by hand. What I would also say, if you're using tyre irons like this, I wouldn't really recommend this method for alloys. They do have a tendency to scratch them up a bit. These are steel. This is a steel rim though. I really don't care about it that much, so I'm going to do it this way. Lubrication is your friend. Now, you can buy proper tyre soap to do this. However, I found, to be honest, basically neat washing up liquid is sufficient to get the tyres on and off. Trust me though, it does make a difference.
With the tyre lubed up, it was time to prise it off. The trick is to get one tyre iron in and then use the second one to lever a small bit of the tyre over the lip of the rim. You then take the first one out and repeat the process. If you are struggling to get the tyre over the wheel rim, I would advise using your foot to push down on the tyre on the opposite side. This will allow the tyre bead to drop into the well of the wheel and kind of slide across to where you're trying to prise the tyre off.
I bet there's tyre fitters everywhere screaming at me.
This tyre did put up a bit of a fight as it kept dropping back into position. Once I managed to get the rim partly out, I was then able to just pull the rim out of the tyre by hand.
There we go. This is the tyre that I want to fit on that rim. You may notice it's a little bit slower in profile. I have reasons for that. They will be explained in the future on this channel. But anyway, for now, I need to get this off. Something I noticed a lot of tyre places don't do, when you get new tyres, they tend to have a little red or yellow mark on them, which is where you're supposed to put opposite the valve stem. That's to give them the best balance. The amount of tyres I've seen at places that don't do them, valve there and that dot there, is, to be honest, quite appalling in my opinion. The little dots have worn off on this, however I have made note that it's pretty much opposite the R and the number, and I'm going to try and put a pencil mark on the tread just to give you an idea. If I can find a wax piece of wax crayon or a piece of chalk or something, I would use that, but I don't, so that's what I do. Fortunately, it's got quite a memorable mark. I did also say don't do this with alloy wheels. This alloy is pretty scratched up as it is anyway. I have no use for it. If anybody's interested in it, I might post the link below in the description where you can go find my basic eBay link to buy it. Anyway, for now, let's get this off the rim.
After struggling to break the bead on this tyre because someone had used tyre sealant, I just then had to leave it off the rim. As mentioned before, lower profile tyres are generally harder to remove by hand as the sidewall is stiffer. Also, I am sorry to disappoint anybody that had their heart set on these rims. Between filming this episode and editing it, I have actually managed to sell them. Fitting a tyre is just the reverse of removing it, except with the added bonus of being able to use your body weight to help push the tyre on.
Oh. Right, that's the tyre actually on the rim. The next bit is the fun bit when we get to seat the bead. Well, it's a new day and it's definitely not a different tyre on a different rim because the memory card filled up and my camera stopped recording. But now for the bit that you've probably all been waiting for. And just for the sanity of my solicitor, if they're watching, do not try this at home. This does involve fire, basically explosive gases, so it's not exactly safe. And yes, I do realise the irony that this is supposedly a tutorial video and yet I'm telling you not to do something. Before I do what you were expecting me to, I will just say I did once see a Mythbusters episode where they were trying to inflate a tyre using explosives. Basically the trick I'm about to show you. That isn't right. This trick isn't to inflate a tyre, it's to reseat the bead of a tyre onto a rim. What you do need to do is either take the valve out like I have, or as soon as you've got the tyre onto the bead, you then need to quickly get air in there using something like a compressor. If you don't, what happens is that it cools down and it can actually pull the tyre back off the rim. So, with that being said, now for the fun bit. Oh, for your reference, this is just brake cleaning.
This tyre was quite stiff, so to aid getting the brake cleaner in, I had to push the tyre down with my foot. For both yours and my viewing pleasure, let's watch that again in slow-mo.
Voila! onto seated onto the bead. And that whistle that you heard there at the end was actually air being sucked back in through the valve stem. And that's why you need to remove it, you need to get air on there. Alright, what we've got to do is fit the valve and then we can pop this tyre up. Well, that's it for this episode. I hope you found it useful. If you want to see some other how to build episodes, then please click here. If you want to see some of the other videos and build projects on my channel, then please click here. And if you want to get notifications when I release new videos on the channel, then please click the subscribe button and remember to hit that notification bell. Once again, thanks for watching.